Close your eyes for a moment, not to sleep, but to awaken. There, behind the noise, behind the striving, behind the yearning, there is a silent presence. It is not far, it is not hidden, it is you. You have been taught to reach outward for power, for help, for permission. But that is the great deception. The Creator did not plant himself in the sky. He placed himself in you. Act as if God is within you, because he is. Not metaphorically, not symbolically, literally. The very breath that animates you, the still small voice, the imagination that flashes with possibility, this is the divine expressing through you. When you imagine a thing and feel it as real, you are speaking in the language of the infinite. When you walk in faith, not begging, not bargaining, but knowing, you are demonstrating that you understand the sacred secret. Your assumptions shape your world. This world, it is not solid. It only reflects the state of your consciousness. Change the within and the without must follow. So, if you would be loved, feel loved. If you would be rich, feel richness within your spirit. If you would be healed, walk in wholeness mentally, even when the body gives no sign. This is not delusion, this is creation. Act as if you are the child of God, because you are not separate. You are the extension of the very I am. Whatever you claim in that name, I am successful, I am free, I am whole, you plant in the soil of your soul. Do not look to the world to approve of you. Do not wait for signs. The sign is your desire. That is enough. Go within. Assume the state. Live from the end. And let the world adjust to your inner conviction. You are not small. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. The divine waits only for your recognition. Act as if God is within you, and you will awaken to the truth. He always has been. And he always will be. Within, you are the living temple of the divine. Stop seeking outside what is already within. This truth, simple and profound, is the beginning of all transformation. Yet, how often do we forget? How often do we wander the world, begging for signs, searching for proof, pleading for answers, when all along the presence we seek dwells silently at the center of our own being. From the moment you became conscious, the world trained you to look outward for approval, for direction, for love, for salvation. You were taught that authority lies in institutions, that answers come from books or preachers or prophets, that peace will arrive once everything outside of you finally changes. But that is the illusion, the dream of separation. And as long as you cling to it, you will feel empty, waiting for something to complete you that can never be found beyond your own soul. The truth is this: you are not lacking, you are not separate, you are not here to be filled, you are here to remember that you are already full. The infinite does not dwell in distant temples or lofty heavens. It is not hiding in the mountains or buried in sacred texts. It is in you, as you, right now. Your imagination is the sanctuary. Your consciousness is the holy place. Every time you sit in stillness, every time you close your eyes and turn your attention inward, you walk through the veil into the sacred. In that silence, you will not hear the voice of a stranger. You will hear your own voice. The voice of I am. This I am is the secret name of the divine. It is the name you use every day, often unconsciously. I am tired. I am lonely. I am afraid. And the world reflects these assumptions back to you faithfully. But when you awaken, When you remember that I am is not a statement of limitation, but a declaration of creation, everything begins to change. For then you begin to say, I am strong, I am free, I am chosen, I am loved. And the world must echo that new inner reality. To live as the temple of God is to walk not in arrogance, but in reverence. It is to honor your thoughts, to guard your assumptions, to speak only that which you are willing to see manifest. It is to understand that the altar is your imagination and the offering is your belief. You do not need to chase anything, you need only awaken. You need only accept that what you have been seeking has been seeking you within you all along. When you stop looking for validation from the world, you finally hear the whisper within. And it says, be still and know that I am. You are the container of the infinite. Not one spark of the divine, but the full flame, waiting for your recognition. The moment you stop searching out there, you come home to the truth. You are the living temple. Imagination is the voice of God inside you. What you vividly assume becomes your reality. This is not merely poetic language, nor is it an abstract spiritual metaphor. It is law. It is the very mechanism through which life itself unfolds. Within you is a quiet, persistent faculty, a power so vast it shapes the course of your world. That power is your imagination, and it is divine in origin. When you imagine, you are not daydreaming, you are not escaping reality, you are creating it. The images you hold with feeling, the scenes you rehearse with emotion, the conversations you replay or anticipate, these are not idle thoughts. They are creative acts. They are seeds. And each one faithfully produces after its own kind. You have been taught that imagination is fantasy, that it has no bearing on the real world, but this is the great error. For every structure you see, every invention, every movement, every life situation, each began first as a thought in someone's mind. Imagination preceded every manifestation. It always does. What you vividly assume, especially when it is accompanied by emotion, imprints itself upon your subconscious. And the subconscious, indifferent to whether the assumption is true or false, right or wrong, immediately sets into motion the circumstances, people, and opportunities necessary to bring that assumption into form. Life reflects what you believe, not what you want. To understand this is to take responsibility for your reality, not in guilt, but in power. If your world appears unkind, chaotic, or limited, do not rush to change the world. Go inward. Examine the inner conversations. Listen to the images you allow to play behind your eyes. What you consistently imagine, you give life to. If you assume rejection, you attract it. If you imagine prosperity and walk in its feeling, it comes. Not because of luck or effort, but because consciousness is cause, and imagination is its language. When you imagine from the end, when you assume that your desire is already fulfilled and rest in that conviction, you align yourself with the creative pattern of the universe. You no longer strive, you no longer hope, you know. And that knowing is power. The world outside will always mirror the state within. This is why it is said, as within, so without. Imagination is the bridge between your inner state and your outer world. The voice that says, I am, and paints the picture of your life is none other than the infinite speaking through you. Use this gift consciously. Dare to imagine boldly, lovingly, with intention. Do not be fooled by appearances. They are the echo of old thoughts. You are always free to assume a new state. The moment you do and persist in it, the world must conform. So ask yourself not what is, but what do I now assume to be true? For whatever you answer in imagination, if you persist, It will become your lived reality. You are not imagining things, you are creating them. Faith is not pleading but knowing. Walk, speak, and act from the state of the fulfilled desire. This is the great key that unlocks the treasures of life. Most people misunderstand faith. They think it is begging, hoping, wishing. They speak of faith, yet all the while their hearts are filled with doubt, their prayers stained with anxiety, and their actions rooted in lack. But true faith is different. It is not a plea. It is a conviction. It is the stillness that comes when you know that what you have asked for is already yours. When you ask for something with faith, you do not wait to see it before you believe. You believe and then you see. The external world is only a mirror of the inner state. To wait for a sign before you believe is to misunderstand the law of creation. It is like looking into a mirror and waiting for the reflection to smile before you do. The smile must first come from you. Faith is not built on appearances. It is a deep inner acceptance that your desire is already a fact, even if it has not yet appeared in your world of senses. To have faith is to walk differently, to speak differently, to carry yourself as one who already possesses what they have asked for. You are not trying to become, you have already become. This is what it means to live from the state of the fulfilled desire. You don't act as if something might happen. You act from the knowing that it already has. You don't speak like one who is waiting. You speak like one who is already living in the reality you have imagined. The tone of your voice changes. The posture of your heart changes. You are no longer asking because you have received. When this knowing becomes natural, when you persist in it in spite of what the outer world shows, the world must rearrange itself to reflect that inner state. The laws of consciousness cannot fail. What you hold as real within, with faith and consistency, must eventually externalize itself. It is not magic, though it feels like it. It is law. Too many people ask for change but continue to live as if nothing has changed. They pray for abundance and speak of lack. They visualize love and walk in loneliness. This is not faith. This is contradiction. True faith moves in alignment with the end. It does not contradict itself with doubt or undermine itself with fear. You must learn to carry the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Live there, rest there. Let every step you take be from that place, not toward it, from it. And you will see miracles not because they are rare, but because most people never stay long enough in faith to witness their natural unfolding. Faith is not trying, it is knowing. It is the quiet confidence that what you have imagined is already done. And when you truly know this, the world responds accordingly. The outer world is a mirror. Change the inner state and the world must conform. This is not mere philosophy, it is the law by which life unfolds. All that you experience externally is a perfect reflection of your internal assumptions, beliefs, and imaginal activity. Nothing comes to you uninvited, and nothing remains that you have not consented to in consciousness. Your reality is not happening to you, it is happening through you. Everything you see, from the smallest detail to the most dramatic event, mirrors the contents of your inner world. If you live in a state of fear, the world reflects danger. If you dwell in lack, the world echoes with limitation. But if you abide in peace, your surroundings become calm. If you assume abundance, provision appears. The world is not separate from you, it is yourself pushed out. Many struggle because they try to change the reflection instead of the source. They try to fix relationships, situations, and conditions, yet all the while their internal dialogue remains unchanged. This is like trying to change the image in the mirror by touching the glass. It cannot work. You must go inward, shift the feeling, shift the belief, and then the reflection must shift to match it. It is not effort in the outer world that transforms your life. It is effort in consciousness. When you stop reacting to appearances and begin to govern your internal state, you regain your creative power. The world no longer controls you. You begin to shape it by the way you think and feel. This is not denial of facts, but the recognition of a deeper truth. Appearances are nothing more than the residue of past assumptions. They are old manifestations crystallized into form. They have no true power unless you continue to animate them with attention. But the moment you assume a new state and persist in it, the world begins to reflect that new inner condition. It must. That is the law. You are never a victim of circumstances, you are always a creator. The question is not what is happening out there, but what am I believing in here? Your inner conversations, your daily assumptions, your silent self-talk, these are the architects of your reality. Speak differently within, and life will speak differently back to you. To test this, begin with something small. Assume a new state in imagination, feel it real, walk in the tone of that fulfilled desire. Let it be vivid and alive. Do not look to the outer world for confirmation. Simply rest in that new assumption, and soon the world will catch up. It always does. You are the cause, not the effect. And when you fully accept this, everything changes. You no longer chase change in the world, you become it within. And the mirror must reflect your transformation. Change the state and the scene must change. That is the law. To act as if God is within you is to live from the end, not trying to become, but knowing you already are. This is the sacred art of being, the secret that unlocks the power of creation. When you truly grasp that the divine presence dwells within you, not far off in the clouds, not in a temple built by hands, but right here in your own consciousness, your way of living is transformed. You are no longer reaching, begging, or striving. You are no longer asking if it's possible or waiting for permission to step into your purpose. Instead, you begin to live from a deep inner assurance, a knowing that what you desire, you already are. You don't try to become successful. You assume success as your natural identity. You don't try to attract love. You embody the feeling of already being loved. You don't hope for healing. You walk as one already made whole. This is not arrogance, this is alignment. It is the recognition that the creator and the creation are not separate. You are not an empty vessel trying to be filled by some external force. You are already full. With life, with power, with wisdom. The infinite is expressing itself through you. And to act as if God is within you is to honor that truth with every word you speak, every step you take, every thought you allow. Living from the end means you stop looking at appearances for validation. You stop waiting for the world to show you that it's working. Instead, you let your imagination lead, for your imagination is the voice of the divine within. You create in silence and trust that the outer must reflect the inner. If you see yourself as already having what you desire, and you live from that assumption with confidence and peace, the world has no choice but to conform. Most people live trying to become something they believe they are not. But all becoming is illusion. You are already that which you seek. The moment you accept it internally, it begins to unfold externally. You don't need to strive for what is already yours. You need only to align with it in consciousness. So when you walk, walk as one who knows. When you speak, speak as one who has. When you imagine, imagine as one who is already there. This is not pretending. It is the truest form of reality. Pretending is when you act from separation. But this is different. This is creation. This is living as if you and the divine are one. Because you are. Let the feeling of your fulfilled desire become your dwelling place. Rest in it. Return to it when doubt arises. Persist in it when the world says otherwise. For when you act as if God is within you, you awaken the power that shapes reality, not in the future, but now. You already are. And that knowing is the key. The stillness and awareness are sacred. When you dwell in the silence, the infinite speaks through you. In a world that constantly pulls your attention outward, toward noise, distraction, and endless motion, there lies a quiet truth that only reveals itself in the stillness of being. The silence is not empty. It is full, brimming with wisdom, presence, and power. It is in this sacred silence that you remember who you truly are. The voice of the infinite is not heard in the roar of the world. It does not shout to be noticed. It whispers in the quiet spaces of your soul. When you become still, truly still, not just in body but in mind and spirit, you begin to feel this presence. It is subtle yet undeniable, gentle yet unshakable. It is the quiet knowing that you are held, guided, and connected to something vast and eternal. Awareness is the gateway to this stillness. When you become aware of your breath, of your thoughts, of the moment, you step out of the mechanical patterns of life and into the sacred now. And in the now, the infinite waits patiently for your recognition, not to give you something new, but to remind you of what was never lost. Peace, clarity, love, guidance, they are all within you. But you can only hear them when you cease to chase and simply become present. Dwelling in silence is not about doing nothing. It is the most powerful form of receptivity. In silence, your imagination is purified, your assumptions come into light, and your inner world aligns with truth. You stop reacting and start creating. The noise of doubt fades, and the signal of divine wisdom becomes clear. In this space, your desires are not questioned. They are accepted as already given. The silence does not ask if you are worthy, it affirms that you are. Most people avoid stillness because they are afraid of what they might find. But it is in facing that inner world without resistance that transformation occurs. Silence is not your enemy, it is your greatest ally. In it, you are not separate from the source. You are one with it. Your awareness becomes the awareness of the infinite. What you focus on in that space becomes your experience, not through effort, but through natural emergence. Make time each day to return to the silence, not to get something, but to remember. To remember that the power that formed the stars also formed you, and it has never left. When you dwell in that sacred awareness, you begin to move through life with grace, certainty, and calm power. You speak less, but your words carry more. You act less, but your steps are guided. You worry less, because you now walk in alignment with a presence that knows the way. Let stillness be your home, let awareness be your compass, and in the quiet you will hear the infinite speaking, not in words, but in knowing. It is always there. You need only to listen. Certainly. Here's a conclusion to your overall speech in the style you've been using, followed by a succinct and powerful way to say thanks. The power you seek, the love you desire, the abundance you chase, they are not outside of you. They await your recognition. When you begin to act as if God is within you, life no longer becomes a struggle to attain, but a sacred unfolding of what already is. You stop striving and begin allowing. You cease reacting and begin creating. You awaken to the truth that imagination is the voice of the infinite, that faith is knowing, not pleading, and that your outer world will always bow to the inner state you persist in. When you dwell in silence, you commune with the divine. When you feel it real, you bring heaven to earth. So go forth not in hope but in certainty, not as one who seeks, but as one who knows. Live from the end, dwell in the fulfillment, and let your world reflect the truth of who you already are. Thank you for being present, for listening not just with ears, but with spirit. May you walk in power, in peace, and in presence.
At 3 in the morning, when the world is still and silence envelops the earth, there lies a sacred opportunity. It is in this stillness that the divine whispers, and your soul becomes attuned to the eternal truths of life. If you find yourself awake at this hour, know that it is no accident. It is a calling, an invitation to step into communion with the infinite. Close your eyes and center yourself. Feel the quiet embrace of this moment. Say within, I am thankful for the blessings I have, and the blessings yet unseen. I am one with the Creator, and all that I desire is already mine. Speak these words with the conviction of one who knows the truth. Feel the gratitude swell in your heart, as if your prayer has already been answered. Picture yourself in possession of what you seek. See it, feel it, live it in your imagination. This is not mere wishful thinking, it is the act of creation itself. As you pray, release every worry and doubt. Trust that the divine is working through you, aligning the unseen forces of the universe to bring your desires to life. This trust is the key that unlocks all doors. Say to yourself, I let go of all fear and trust in the perfect timing of life. The still hour of 3 a.m. is a bridge between the conscious and the eternal. Use it wisely. Speak your prayer with faith, feel it with love, and let the universe carry it forth. What you seek is seeking you, and in this sacred moment, you are one with its manifestation. In the quiet embrace of the early morning, when the clock strikes 3 and the world is wrapped in slumber, there exists a moment of profound significance. This is the still hour, a time untouched by the chaos of the day, when the mind is free from the incessant demands of the external world. It is a sacred interval, one that offers a gateway to the deeper realms of the self and the divine. Many dismiss these moments of wakefulness as mere interruptions of sleep, yet they are far more than that. They are invitations to enter the silence within, where the truest power resides. At this hour, the noise of the world is hushed, and even the air feels different. There is an unmistakable stillness, a tangible peace that envelops everything. This quiet is not merely external, it mirrors the quiet within. It is as if the universe itself pauses, creating a perfect space for reflection, prayer, and connection with the infinite. In this stillness, distractions fade and clarity begins to emerge. The questions that seemed so pressing during the day lose their urgency, and answers that eluded you start to unfold effortlessly. This is the time when the conscious mind loosens its grip, and the subconscious becomes more accessible. The barriers between the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown, grow thinner. It is no coincidence that many great spiritual practices emphasize the power of prayer or meditation during the early morning hours. This is when the veil between you and the divine is at its thinnest, making it the perfect time to align yourself with the higher vibrations of love, peace, and creation. If you find yourself awake at this hour, resist the urge to see it as a disturbance. Instead, view it as a sacred calling, a reminder that you are more than your physical existence. You have been given a rare moment to commune with the essence of who you truly are. Sit in stillness and let your thoughts settle like sediment in a glass of water. As the agitation ceases, clarity will emerge, and the true nature of your being will shine through. Use this time to turn inward, to quiet the endless chatter of the mind. Breathe deeply and slowly, allowing each inhale to draw you closer to the present moment, and each exhale to release the weight of yesterday. In this space of presence, the power of the still hour begins to reveal itself. You start to realize that the answers you seek do not come from outside of you, they come from within. The still hour is not about asking for more, but about recognizing that everything you need is already here. Prayer during this hour takes on a unique quality. It is not the hurried, half-hearted prayer often offered in times of stress, but a prayer that rises from the depths of your soul. It is a conversation with the divine, spoken not in words but in feelings. This is the time to express gratitude for the blessings in your life and the blessings yet to come. Gratitude opens the door to abundance, for when you give thanks as if your desires have already been fulfilled, you align yourself with the energy of manifestation. This is also the hour of vision. Close your eyes and imagine the life you wish to create. See it vividly, as if it is already yours. Feel the joy, the peace, the fulfillment that comes with it. This act of visualization is not a mere daydream, it is a powerful act of creation. In the still hour, your mind becomes the fertile ground, and your thoughts the seeds that will grow into your reality. What you plant here will take root and flourish in the days and weeks to come. But perhaps the greatest gift of the still hour is the opportunity to let go. In the silence, you are reminded that you do not have to control everything. The universe operates with perfect order and timing, and your role is not to force but to flow. As you sit in the quiet, let go of your worries, your fears, and your doubts. Trust that the same power that keeps the stars in the sky and the planets in their orbits is working in your life as well. Surrender to this truth, and you will find a peace that surpasses all understanding. When the still hour passes and the first light of dawn begins to break, you will feel a renewed sense of clarity and purpose. The moments spent in silence and communion will have left their mark, and you will carry their peace into the day ahead. The still hour is not just a time of reflection, it is a time of transformation. It is in these moments of stillness that the seeds of greatness are sown, and the foundation for a life of fulfillment is laid. So, if you find yourself awake at 3 a.m., embrace it. Step into the stillness with an open heart and a quiet mind. Allow the power of this sacred hour to envelop you, to guide you, and to transform you. For it is in the stillness that the divine speaks, and in the silence that you will hear the truth of who you are. In the quiet hours of the night, when the world is still and your mind drifts between wakefulness and slumber, you stand at the gate of the subconscious mind. This is a realm of infinite possibility, where thoughts and beliefs take form, shaping the fabric of your reality. The subconscious mind is not bound by the constraints of logic or the rigid structures of the conscious mind. It is fluid, creative, and deeply powerful. To access this realm is to hold the key to transformation, for the subconscious is the seat of all creation. The gate to the subconscious is most open in moments of stillness, especially during the early hours of the morning when distractions are few, and the chatter of the conscious mind begins to fade. At this time, your brain waves naturally shift to a state of relaxation, entering the borderlands of the subconscious. Here, the mind is malleable, receptive, and ready to absorb impressions. What you think, feel, and imagine in these moments sinks deeply into the subconscious, becoming the blueprint for your future experiences. Many underestimate the power of their subconscious mind, thinking it a passive storehouse for memories and habits. But the truth is far more profound. The subconscious is not merely reactive, it is the engine of creation. Every belief you hold, every fear you nurture, and every desire you cherish is housed in this vast inner realm. And the subconscious does not judge or filter, it accepts as truth whatever is impressed upon it, whether through repetitive thought, deep emotion, or vivid imagination. To approach the gate of the subconscious mind, you must first understand its language. Unlike the conscious mind, which relies on logic and words, the subconscious speaks in feelings, images, and symbols. This is why visualization is so effective. It bypasses the analytical faculties of the conscious mind and speaks directly to the subconscious. When you vividly imagine a scene and infuse it with emotion, the subconscious accepts it as real and begins to align the circumstances of your life to match this internal vision. Consider this: every habit you have, every automatic response, and even the way you perceive yourself and the world are all rooted in your subconscious mind. These patterns were not formed overnight. They are the result of repeated thoughts and experiences that have been etched into the subconscious over time. But just as these patterns were created, they can be altered. So, the gate to the subconscious mind is always open, waiting for you to consciously shape its contents. One of the most effective ways to access the subconscious is through prayer or affirmation. spoken with conviction and feeling during moments of stillness. When you speak words of truth and possibility, and when you feel them deeply, they bypass the conscious mind and take root in the subconscious. For instance, saying, "I am abundant" with genuine belief and gratitude plants the seed of abundance in the fertile soil of the subconscious. Over time, this seed grows, manifesting as tangible experiences of prosperity in your life. Yet, accessing the subconscious is not merely about implanting positive thoughts, it is also about uprooting the weeds of doubt and fear that may have taken hold. The subconscious does not distinguish between helpful and harmful beliefs, it simply reflects what has been consistently impressed upon it. This is why becoming aware of your thoughts and emotions is so crucial. The conscious mind serves as the gatekeeper, deciding what is allowed to pass into the subconscious. If you catch yourself dwelling on negativity or entertaining self-defeating beliefs, you have the power to change the narrative. Replace these thoughts with affirmations of truth, beauty, and possibility, and watch as the subconscious begins to align with your higher intentions. The power of the subconscious mind is amplified by repetition. Just as a river carves a path through rock over time, repeated impressions carve new pathways in the subconscious. This is why consistent prayer, affirmation, or visualization is so effective. Each repetition strengthens the new belief, making it a dominant force in your inner world. And as your inner world changes, so too does your outer reality, for the subconscious is always working to bring into physical form that which it holds as true. It is important to approach the gate to the subconscious mind with reverence and intentionality. This is not a place for idle thoughts or fleeting desires. It is a sacred space where the seeds of your destiny are planted. Treat it as such, and you will find that the subconscious responds with profound creativity and intelligence. It will guide you, inspire you, and bring into your life opportunities and solutions that seem almost miraculous. In the stillness of the night, when the veil between the conscious and subconscious is thin, you have the power to shape your reality in ways that defy logic. The gate to the subconscious mind is always open, but it is your conscious choice that determines what passes through. Approach it with faith, clarity, and love, and you will unlock the limitless potential that resides within you. This is the secret to transformation, the understanding that the outer world is but a reflection of the inner, and that the subconscious mind is the bridge between the two. When it comes to prayer, words are often seen as the most important aspect. Yet, the true power of prayer lies not in the words spoken, but in the feelings they evoke. It is the feeling behind the prayer that gives it life, that connects it to the unseen forces shaping your reality. Without feeling, prayer is little more than empty recitation, a hollow act that fails to touch the depths of your being. But when infused with genuine emotion, prayer becomes a transformative force, capable of bridging the gap between desire and manifestation. To pray effectively is to feel deeply. It is not enough to ask for what you want, you must feel as though your prayer has already been answered. This is the essence of faith, not hoping for a distant outcome, but embodying the reality of your desire in the present moment. When you pray with feeling, you align your inner world with the reality you seek, and in doing so, you set the wheels of creation in motion. Consider for a moment the power of gratitude. When you pray with a sense of heartfelt gratitude, you are not merely asking for blessings, you are affirming that they already exist. Gratitude is a profound acknowledgement of the abundance already present in your life, and it creates a vibrational match for even greater blessings to flow to you. Imagine praying for healing, not with desperation, but with a feeling of joy and relief, as though the healing has already occurred. This shift in feeling transforms your prayer from a request into a declaration of truth, and it is this truth that the universe responds to. Feeling is the language of the subconscious mind, the creative powerhouse within you. Unlike the conscious mind, which deals in logic and analysis, the subconscious responds to emotion and imagery. When you pray with feeling, you bypass the barriers of doubt and disbelief that often reside in the conscious mind. Your emotions become the vehicle that carries your prayer to the depths of the subconscious, where it takes root and begins to shape your reality. This is why it is essential to cultivate the right emotional state when you pray. If your prayer is filled with fear, worry, or lack, those feelings will be impressed upon your subconscious, perpetuating the very conditions you wish to escape. Instead, approach prayer with feelings of love, peace, and confidence. Feel the joy of already having what you desire, the relief of knowing that your needs are met, and the serenity of trusting in the divine order of the universe. Visualization can be a powerful tool to evoke the feeling of prayer. Close your eyes and picture yourself in the reality you wish to create. See it vividly, as though it is happening right now. Feel the emotions that this reality would bring, whether it is the warmth of love, the security of abundance, or the vitality of health. Let these feelings wash over you as you pray, for they are the substance of your faith. The stronger the emotion, the more powerfully your prayer is impressed upon the subconscious and the universe. Another important aspect of feeling in prayer is the state of surrender. True prayer is not about striving or forcing, it is about letting go and trusting. When you pray with feeling, you must also release any attachment to the outcome. Feel the joy of having your desire fulfilled, and then let it go, trusting that it is already on its way. This act of surrender signals your faith in the process and allows the divine forces to work unhindered. Holding on to doubt or anxiety only creates resistance, blocking the flow of blessings into your life. The feeling of the prayer is also a form of alignment. When you pray with the right feelings, you align yourself with the frequency of your desires. Every emotion carries a vibrational frequency, and when you align with the frequency of love, abundance, or peace, you naturally attract those experiences into your life. This is not a matter of chance or luck, it is a universal law. What you feel deeply and consistently becomes your reality. It is also worth noting that the feeling of the prayer can uplift not only your own life but also the lives of others. When you pray for someone with genuine compassion and love, you send out a ripple of positive energy that can touch them in ways beyond comprehension. This is why prayers for healing, protection, or guidance are so powerful when they come from a place of heartfelt emotion. Your feelings infuse the prayer with a vitality that transcends words, reaching the very soul of the person you are praying for. The feeling of the prayer is what transforms it from a mere ritual into a profound act of creation. It is not the length of your prayer or the eloquence of your words that matters, it is the sincerity and intensity of your feelings. When you pray with feeling, you step into the role of co-creator, shaping your reality in partnership with the divine. You declare, through your emotions, that what you seek is already yours, and you trust that the universe will bring it into form. So the next time you pray, pause and center yourself. Feel the gratitude, joy, and certainty of your desire fulfilled. Let your heart speak louder than your words, and trust that your prayer, carried by the power of feeling, is already answered. In this way, you harness the true essence of prayer, a bridge between the seen and the unseen, between longing and fulfillment, between your soul and the infinite. To be united with the infinite is to recognize the boundless connection between yourself and the source of all creation. It is an awakening to the truth that you are not separate from the divine, nor are you merely a passive participant in life's unfolding. Instead, you are an expression of the infinite, a vessel through which its creative power flows. This unity is not something to be achieved, but something to be remembered, for it has always been your natural state. The infinite is not an entity outside of you, distant and unreachable. It is the very essence of your being, the eternal presence within you that transcends time, space, and circumstance. This presence, often called by many names God, the universe, or the divine, is the source of all life and the wellspring of infinite potential. To align with this truth is to step into your role as a co-creator, to recognize that the same power that spins galaxies into existence dwells within you. The recognition of unity with the infinite begins with awareness. Most of humanity lives in a state of separation, perceiving themselves as limited individuals navigating a world of external forces. This illusion of separation creates fear, doubt, and struggle, for it obscures the profound truth of your inherent divinity. To break free from this illusion, you must turn inward, quieting the noise of the external world and listening to the still, small voice within. It is in this silence that the infinite speaks, reminding you of your oneness with all that is. In this oneness there is no lack, no limitation, and no fear. The infinite knows no boundaries, and as its expression you are equally boundless. Your desires, dreams, and aspirations are not random, they are the whispers of the infinite seeking to manifest through you. To be united with the infinite is to trust these whispers, to understand that your deepest desires are not separate from the divine will, but are, in fact, its unfolding through your life. Faith plays a vital role in this unity. Faith is not blind hope or wishful thinking, it is the deep knowing that the infinite is always working in your favor, even when appearances suggest otherwise. When you act in faith, you align yourself with the flow of the infinite, allowing its power to move through you unhindered. This faith is strengthened by understanding that the infinite is inherently good, that its nature is abundance, love, and harmony. When you trust in this nature, you release fear and resistance, opening yourself to the miraculous. The key to experiencing unity with the infinite lies in your imagination and feelings. Imagination is the bridge between the seen and the unseen, the conscious and the subconscious. When you imagine with feeling, you are speaking the language of the infinite, impressing upon it the reality you wish to create. The infinite responds not to idle thoughts, but to the conviction and emotion behind them. To imagine yourself as abundant, loved, or healed is to plant the seeds of those realities in the fertile soil of the infinite. This unity also invites surrender. To be one with the infinite is not to control every detail of your life, but to trust in the divine intelligence that orchestrates all things. Surrender does not mean passivity, it means releasing the need to struggle and allowing the flow of the infinite to guide you. It is an active trust, a partnership in which you do your part by aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the vision you hold, while leaving the rest to the wisdom of the infinite. When you align with the infinite, you realize that life is not happening to you but through you. The challenges you face are not punishments but opportunities for growth, designed to deepen your understanding of your unity with the divine. In every obstacle lies a gift, and in every moment, the infinite is calling you to rise into a greater awareness of your power and purpose. This unity also transforms your relationships with others. When you see yourself as one with the infinite, you begin to see others in the same light. You understand that the divine essence within you is the same essence within them, and this recognition fosters compassion, forgiveness, and love. Our unity with the infinite dissolves the illusion of separation, replacing it with the truth of interconnectedness. To live in this unity is to live a life of purpose, peace, and power. It is to move through the world with the quiet confidence that you are supported, guided, and loved by an intelligence far greater than your individual self. This is not a fleeting experience but a continual state of being, a way of life that transforms the mundane into the miraculous. The infinite is always present, always within you, waiting for you to awaken to its reality. The journey to this awakening is not one of striving but of surrender, not of seeking but of remembering. When you embrace this unity, you step into the fullness of your potential, realizing that you are not merely a drop in the ocean, but the ocean itself in a drop. This is the truth of your being, the essence of your existence, and the ultimate realization of your divine nature. Gratitude is the key that unlocks the gates of abundance and fulfillment. It is not merely an acknowledgement of blessings, but a transformative force that aligns you with the infinite flow of divine provision. The prayer of gratitude is more than a set of words spoken in thanks. It is an act of deep connection with the source of all life. It transcends circumstances and appearances, allowing you to draw closer to the essence of creation, where the seeds of your desires are nurtured and brought to fruition. When you pray with gratitude, you declare that you already have what you seek. This is not a matter of pretense, but a profound act of faith. Gratitude affirms that your desires are not distant possibilities, but present realities waiting to be revealed. It shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from need to fulfillment. By expressing gratitude for what is yet unseen, you call it into being, for the universe responds to your state of belief and feeling. The prayer of gratitude begins with a recognition of the blessings already present in your life. Even in moments of difficulty, there is always something to be thankful for: a breath of air, the warmth of sunlight, the love of another, or simply the gift of existence. By focusing on these blessings, no matter how small, you create a foundation of appreciation upon which greater blessings can be built. Gratitude transforms your perspective, allowing you to see the goodness that surrounds you and to invite more of it into your experience. To pray with gratitude is to acknowledge the divine order that underlies all things. It is an acceptance of the truth that everything unfolds in perfect timing, even when it does not align with your expectations. When you trust in this order, you release the need for control and surrender to the wisdom of the infinite. Gratitude in prayer is not conditional upon receiving what you want. It is an expression of trust that the universe is always working for your highest good. The act of expressing gratitude opens the heart. It shifts your emotional state, lifting you out of fear, doubt, and worry. In this elevated state, your prayers carry a higher vibration, one that resonates with the frequency of love, abundance, and joy. Gratitude is a bridge between the conscious and subconscious mind, impressing upon the latter the reality you wish to experience. When your prayer is filled with gratitude, it becomes a powerful affirmation that aligns your inner world with the outer reality you seek to create. Gratitude is also a form of alignment with the divine. When you express thanks for your blessings, you acknowledge the infinite source from which they flow. This acknowledgement strengthens your connection to the divine, reminding you that you are not separate from the source of your good. In this connection, you find peace, knowing that you are always supported, guided, and provided for. The prayer of gratitude is a conversation with the divine, one that deepens your relationship with the infinite and reaffirms your place in its boundless flow. Visualizing your desires as already fulfilled can amplify the power of your gratitude. As you pray, imagine yourself living the reality you seek. See it clearly in your mind's eye and feel the emotions that accompany it. Let the joy, relief, and appreciation fill your heart as if it is already yours. This act of imagination, coupled with heartfelt gratitude, creates a magnetic force that draws your desires into your life. You are not merely hoping for your prayer to be answered, you are declaring that it is already done. Gratitude also teaches you the art of receiving. Many struggle to accept the blessings they pray for, feeling unworthy or hesitant to embrace the abundance that life offers. The prayer of gratitude dissolves these barriers, reminding you that you are deserving of every good thing. When you give thanks in advance, you open yourself to receive with grace and humility. This openness allows the flow of blessings to move freely, unimpeded by doubt or resistance. The beauty of the prayer of gratitude is that it requires no special conditions or circumstances. It can be spoken in moments of joy or sorrow, in times of plenty or need. Gratitude does not wait for the perfect moment, it creates the perfect moment. By giving thanks in all situations, you affirm your trust in the divine plan and invite the blessings of the infinite into your life. The prayer of gratitude is a practice of faith, a declaration of unity with the divine, and an acknowledgement of the abundance that is your birthright. It is a simple yet profound act that transforms your relationship with life, shifting your focus from what is missing to what is present and possible. In this state of gratitude, you become a co-creator with the divine, shaping your reality through the power of appreciation. As you embrace the prayer of gratitude, you step into the flow of infinite provision. You awaken to the truth that everything you seek is already within you, waiting to be expressed. Gratitude becomes not just a practice, but a way of being, a constant recognition of the goodness that surrounds you and the boundless possibilities that lie ahead. Through the prayer of gratitude, you align with the infinite, allowing its love, abundance, and wisdom to flow freely into every aspect of your life. Visualization in prayer is a powerful tool that bridges the gap between the seen and the unseen, the physical and the spiritual. It is not merely the act of imagining, but an intentional practice of bringing the desired outcome into focus with clarity and feeling. When you engage in visualization during prayer, you do not beg or plead. Instead, you step into the reality you wish to create. You move beyond words into a state of deep communion with the divine, shaping the unseen into form. Prayer, when combined with visualization, becomes an act of creation. The mind, imbued with divine power, has the capacity to shape reality. The images you hold in your mind and the emotions you attach to them are like seeds planted in the fertile soil of the infinite. When nurtured with faith and conviction, these seeds grow into the experiences of your life. Visualization allows you to harness this creative power consciously, directing it toward your desires with precision. Letting go and trusting is one of the most profound yet challenging principles in life. It requires you to release control over the details of how and when your desires will manifest, surrendering instead to the infinite wisdom of the divine. This act of letting go is not an act of giving up, it is a conscious decision to trust that the universe is working in your favor, orchestrating all things for your highest good. When you hold tightly to your desires, gripping them with fear or desperation, you create resistance. This resistance stems from doubt, anxiety, and a need to control outcomes. The energy of fear blocks the natural flow of blessings into your life, much like a dam obstructs the flow of a river. Letting go removes this resistance, allowing the infinite power of creation to move freely and effortlessly through you. To let go is to trust in a higher order. It is a recognition that your human perspective is limited, and that there is a divine intelligence far greater than your understanding. This intelligence knows the perfect timing and method for your desires to unfold. Trusting this wisdom means stepping out of the way, allowing the divine to work without interference. It is an act of faith, a declaration that you believe in the unseen forces guiding your life. Letting go does not mean abandoning your dreams or desires. On the contrary, it means holding your vision with unwavering faith while releasing the need to control every step of the journey. It is about shifting from a state of attachment to a state of trust. When you let go, you create space for miracles to occur, outcomes that often exceed your expectations. The universe is boundless in its capacity to create, and when you release your grip, you invite infinite possibilities into your life. Trust requires patience, for the divine operates on its own timeline. This timeline may not align with your expectations, but it is always perfect. Impatience arises from a lack of trust, a belief that things should happen according to your schedule. By letting go and trusting, you align yourself with divine timing, understanding that delays are not denials but part of a larger, unseen plan. This patience brings peace, for you no longer struggle against the current of life. Letting go also means releasing the need for specific outcomes. Often we become fixated on one particular way for our desires to manifest, limiting the infinite ways the divine can answer our prayers. Trust allows you to remain open to possibilities beyond your imagination. It is a recognition that the divine knows what is best for you, even when it doesn't align with your expectations. When you let go of rigid outcomes, you open yourself to receive blessings in forms you may never have considered. The practice of letting go and trusting begins with surrender. Surrender is not an act of weakness but of strength. It is a conscious choice to release the burden of control and place your trust in the divine. This surrender is not passive, it is active faith. It involves taking inspired action when prompted while releasing the need to force results. Surrendering means aligning with the flow of life rather than resisting it. Gratitude plays a vital role in this process. When you express gratitude for what you already have and for what is yet to come, you affirm your trust in the divine. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, reinforcing your belief that the universe is working on your behalf. It is a powerful reminder that you are already supported and that more blessings are on their way. Through gratitude, you cultivate a sense of peace and contentment, even before your desires have materialized. Visualization can also support the process of letting go. By vividly imagining your desires as already fulfilled, you impress them upon your subconscious mind, setting the creative forces of the universe into motion. Once this vision is firmly planted, you can release it with confidence, trusting that the divine will bring it into reality. This combination of focused intention and surrendered trust is a powerful formula for manifestation. The act of letting go requires self-awareness. It calls you to examine your fears, doubts, and attachments, recognizing where you are holding on too tightly. As you become aware of these patterns, you can consciously choose to release them, replacing fear with faith and anxiety with trust. This inner work is essential, for it aligns your thoughts and emotions with the energy of trust, creating a fertile ground for your desires to manifest. Letting go and trusting is ultimately an act of love. It is a recognition that you are deeply cared for by the divine, that your needs and desires are known, and that you are never alone. Trusting means resting in the assurance that all things are working together for your good, even when the path is unclear. It is a peaceful surrender to the infinite, a quiet confidence that what is meant for you will never pass you by. As you embrace the practice of letting go and trusting, you will find freedom. You release the weight of worry and step into a state of flow, where life unfolds with grace and ease. In this state, you become a co-creator with the divine, shaping your reality not through force, but through faith. Letting go is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of a life lived in harmony with the infinite, where trust becomes your guiding light and love your constant companion. Beloved, hear this truth: you are standing at the threshold of a new reality. The life you have long imagined is no longer a dream, it is becoming tangible. You are entering your millionaire phase. It begins with a thought. Wealth, true wealth, is not found in the accumulation of material things, but in the richness of your imagination. You must see yourself as the architect of your fortune. Picture it now: the home, the freedom, the opportunities. Feel it, not as a distant hope, but as a present reality. Understand this: your external world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state. To claim wealth outwardly, you must first embody it inwardly. Close your eyes and feel the joy of financial freedom. Act, speak, and think from the state of abundance, and watch as the world rearranges itself to mirror your belief. Every great accomplishment in the world begins as a seed, and imagination is the fertile soil in which this seed is planted. The power to imagine is not merely an idle pastime, it is the foundational act of creation. To understand the role of imagination in wealth is to recognize that everything you see in the physical world, every skyscraper, invention, and fortune first existed as a vivid image in someone's mind. Imagination is the origin, the blueprint from which the tangible is constructed. Without it, no empire would ever rise, no dream would ever take form. When you close your eyes and allow yourself to dream, you are not engaging in fantasy but in creation. The images you hold in your mind with clarity and conviction are the seeds of your future reality. Imagine wealth now not as a distant possibility, but as a living reality. See yourself surrounded by the life you desire. Feel the texture of success, hear the sounds of abundance, and bask in the emotions of freedom. This act of focused imagination is not a trivial exercise, it is the birthing process of the wealth you seek. Wealth is not something external that you must pursue, it is an inner reality that you must conceive. Many fail to achieve their financial aspirations because they attempt to chase wealth in the outer world without first cultivating it within. They toil and struggle, mistaking effort for progress, but their results remain elusive because their inner picture is incomplete or clouded by doubt. To become wealthy, you must first see yourself as wealthy in the theater of your imagination. This is the key that unlocks all doors. The mind is a magnificent tool, capable of extraordinary feats when directed with intention. However, it cannot distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is experienced in the physical world. This is your advantage. By repeatedly and vividly imagining yourself as wealthy, your mind begins to accept this image as reality. Your thoughts, actions, and even your perception of opportunities align with this internal belief. You no longer act as one striving for wealth, but as one who already possesses it. This alignment is the unseen force that attracts circumstances, people, and resources that bring your vision to life. Doubt often arises in this process, as the current reality may not yet reflect the wealth you desire. But this is where faith plays its role. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not dig it up each day to check if it is growing. You water it, nurture it, and trust that it will bloom in its time. Similarly, the seed of wealth you plant in your imagination must be nurtured with unwavering belief. Each time you return to your vision, you strengthen its roots. Each moment of faith adds nourishment to its growth. It is not enough to imagine sporadically or without conviction. The images you create must be vivid, detailed, and emotionally charged. Feel the joy of financial freedom, the gratitude of living without limits, and the confidence of knowing that your needs are always met. These emotions are the waters that nourish the seed of your imagination. The more you feel it, the more real it becomes, until it is impossible for the physical world not to align with your inner state. Imagination is not bound by the limitations of the material world. It does not require resources, connections, or circumstances to begin its work. This is its beauty and its power. Regardless of your current situation, you can close your eyes and enter a world of unlimited wealth and possibility. In doing so, you tap into the infinite creative force that governs all existence. You become a conscious creator, shaping your reality not through force or struggle, but through the effortless power of thought. As you persist in your vision, you will notice subtle changes. Ideas will arise, opportunities will appear, and synchronicities will unfold. These are not coincidences, but the natural outworking of the seed you have planted. The outer world is merely a reflection of the inner, and as your inner picture of wealth becomes more defined, the outer world must conform to it. This is the law of creation, immutable and universal. Never underestimate the simplicity of this process. Many dismiss imagination as idle daydreaming, failing to grasp its profound power. But those who understand its true nature recognize it as the starting point of all transformation. By imagining wealth with clarity, persistence, and faith, you set in motion the forces that bring it into being. You do not need to know how or when it will unfold. Your role is to maintain the vision and trust in its fulfillment. Wealth is not a matter of luck or circumstance, but of consciousness. It is a state of being that begins within and radiates outward. By planting the seed of wealth in your imagination, you take the first and most vital step toward its manifestation. Nurture this seed, and in time you will harvest the abundance that has always been waiting for you to claim it. The key to creating wealth lies in one profound truth: you must first feel wealthy to become wealthy. This principle may seem counterintuitive in a world where we are taught to base our reality on external circumstances. Yet the truth remains that your internal state, how you feel about yourself, and your relationship with abundance dictates the wealth that manifests in your life. Wealth is not something you chase, nor is it something you wait for. It is a feeling, a state of mind that you must assume here and now. To assume the feeling of wealth is to embody it fully in your imagination and emotions. This is not merely about visualizing wealth, but about living as though it is already yours. Close your eyes and see yourself surrounded by the life you desire. Imagine stepping into your dream home, driving the car of your dreams, or experiencing the freedom to travel without concern for cost. More importantly, feel the emotions that such a life would bring: joy, confidence, security, and gratitude. These feelings are the essence of wealth, and by embodying them, you align yourself with the frequency of abundance. The world often tells us to wait for external evidence before we allow ourselves to feel successful or wealthy. We say, "I'll feel secure when I have the money," or "I'll be confident when my bank account reflects my efforts." But this approach is backward. You cannot wait for your outer world to change before shifting your inner state. The outer world is a reflection of your inner state, not the other way around. By assuming the feeling of wealth now, regardless of your current circumstances, you set the stage for wealth to appear in your reality. This process requires imagination and faith. The imagination allows you to see beyond the limitations of your present situation, and faith ensures you persist even when external evidence seems to contradict your inner vision. Doubts may arise, whispering that what you are doing is foolish or unrealistic. But remember, the circumstances you see today are the result of your past thinking and feelings. To create a new reality, you must plant new seeds in the soil of your imagination and nurture them with unwavering belief. Assuming the feeling of wealth does not mean pretending or ignoring your current responsibilities. It means shifting your focus and energy toward the state of being you desire. For instance, if you currently feel constrained by financial stress, do not dwell on those feelings. Instead, gently redirect your focus to the feeling of freedom and abundance. This may take practice, but each time you do it, you strengthen the vibration of wealth within you. The feeling of wealth is more than just happiness or excitement. It is a calm assurance, a sense of gratitude for what you have and what is coming. Imagine waking up every morning knowing that all your needs are met, that opportunities are flowing effortlessly into your life. How would you walk, speak, and carry yourself if you were already wealthy? Begin to adopt these behaviors now, and you will find that the world starts to respond to you differently. One powerful way to embody the feeling of wealth is through gratitude. Even if your current resources feel limited, find things to be grateful for. Gratitude amplifies the energy of abundance. Each time you express gratitude for the wealth you imagine, you reinforce the belief that it is already yours. This belief is magnetic. It draws circumstances, people, and opportunities into your life that align with your feeling of abundance. It is also essential to release the fear of lack. Many people remain stuck in a cycle of financial struggle because their focus is on what they lack rather than what they desire. Fear of lack creates more lack. By assuming the feeling of wealth, you shift your focus from scarcity to abundance. You no longer act out of desperation or fear, but from a place of trust and confidence. Assuming the feeling of wealth may initially feel unfamiliar or even uncomfortable if your current reality is far from what you desire. This is natural because you are retraining your mind to think and feel in new ways. Be patient with yourself. Practice daily, immersing yourself in the feelings of abundance and security. Over time, these feelings will become second nature, and your external world will begin to reflect them. Wealth is not just about money, it is a state of being. It is about freedom, joy, and the ability to live life on your terms. By assuming the feeling of wealth, you are not only attracting material abundance, but also aligning yourself with a richer, more fulfilling life. You are stepping into the version of yourself that knows no limits, a self that understands that wealth is your birthright. Trust in the process. Feel wealthy now, even if your physical senses tell you otherwise. Persist in this feeling, and the world will reshape itself to mirror your inner state. This is not wishful thinking, it is a fundamental law of creation. When you feel wealthy, you are wealthy, and everything else will follow. One of the greatest barriers to manifesting wealth, or any desire, is an attachment to how it will unfold. The human mind is deeply conditioned to seek control, to plan every step, and to demand certainty. Yet, the very act of obsessing over the how creates resistance, blocking the natural flow of events that lead to the fulfillment of your desire. To manifest effortlessly, you must learn to release the need to know the exact path and trust that the universe will arrange the perfect sequence of events to bring your vision to life. Detaching from the how does not mean abandoning your goal or becoming passive. Instead, it means relinquishing the need to micromanage the process and focusing instead on maintaining clarity and faith in your desired outcome. When you plant a seed in the ground, you trust that nature will handle the intricate processes needed for its growth. You do not dig up the seed daily to check its progress, nor do you dictate the exact way it should sprout. Similarly, when you plant the seed of your desire in your mind, your role is to nurture it with faith, not force. The need to control often stems from fear and doubt. You may fear that your desire will not materialize unless you intervene or orchestrate every detail. But this approach misunderstands the creative process. The conscious mind is limited in its capacity to predict or control the infinite variables at play in the universe. When you try to dictate the how, you restrict the possibilities to what you can conceive, ignoring the infinite ways the universe can bring your desire into being. By letting go, you open yourself to solutions, and opportunities far greater than anything you could imagine. Detachment is an act of trust. It is a declaration of faith in the unseen forces that govern creation. When you release the how, you affirm that you believe in the inevitability of your desire. This faith is magnetic. It draws the right people, circumstances, and events into your life without effort. Your only job is to stay aligned with the feeling of your desire already fulfilled. The rest will take care of itself. Consider this: when you place an order at a restaurant, you do not follow the chef into the kitchen to ensure your meal is prepared correctly. You trust the process and wait in expectation. Detaching from the how in manifestation works the same way. So you place your order by imagining your desire clearly and feeling the joy of its fulfillment. Then, you allow the universe to work behind the scenes, orchestrating events in ways you cannot yet perceive. Attachment to the how often creates unnecessary tension and anxiety. You may find yourself overthinking, second-guessing, or feeling discouraged when things do not happen as you expect. This state of stress blocks the very flow of energy needed to manifest your desire. In contrast, detachment brings a sense of ease and freedom. It allows you to live in the present moment, trusting that everything is unfolding perfectly. Detaching from the how also helps you remain open to unexpected opportunities. Sometimes the path to your desire may take forms you did not anticipate. If you are rigidly focused on one specific way for your goal to manifest, you may overlook or even resist these opportunities. Detachment allows you to move with the flow of life, embracing the surprises and serendipities that often lead to greater outcomes than you originally imagined. This does not mean you should avoid action altogether. Inspired action plays a vital role in manifestation. However, this action should come from a place of alignment and intuition, not from a place of desperation or overthinking. When you detach from the how, you act with confidence and joy, trusting that each step you take is part of the larger plan. You do not force outcomes. Instead, you allow them to unfold naturally. To practice detachment, begin by shifting your focus. Instead of obsessing over the process, immerse yourself in the feeling of your desire already realized. Visualize your life as if your dream has come true, and let that feeling guide your thoughts and actions. When doubts or fears arise, remind yourself that the how is not your concern. Trust in the infinite intelligence of the universe to handle the details. Detachment is not about giving up, but about letting go of resistance. It is about releasing the mental struggle and embracing a state of flow. This state of trust and surrender does not diminish your power, it amplifies it. By detaching from the how, you align yourself with the natural laws of creation, allowing your desires to manifest with grace and ease. The how is the domain of the universe. Your role is to dream, believe, and act in alignment with your vision. Let go of the need to control every detail, and trust that the path will reveal itself in perfect timing. Detach from the how, and you will discover that the journey is as miraculous as the destination. But persistence in your vision is the cornerstone of creation. The life you desire begins not with action, but with the unwavering ability to hold steadfast to the image of what you wish to manifest, regardless of current circumstances. This is not a passive process, it is a deliberate and continuous practice of aligning your inner world with the reality you wish to experience. To persist in the vision means to remain faithful to it, even when the physical evidence around you suggests otherwise. The journey to manifestation often tests your resolve. Life may present you with challenges, delays, or contradictions that seem to mock your vision. It is during these moments that persistence becomes crucial. The tendency for many is to abandon their vision at the first sign of difficulty, mistaking temporary setbacks for failure. But true manifestation requires an inner commitment that transcends the fleeting appearances of the external world. Your current reality is simply the result of your past thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. It is not permanent, nor does it dictate what is possible. By persisting in the vision, you shift your focus from what is to what will be. This shift in focus is the key to transformation. You cannot create a new reality while remaining anchored to the old one. Instead, you must live in the assumption of your desire already fulfilled, allowing this assumption to guide your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Persistence is not about forcing outcomes or clinging desperately to your vision. It is about faith. It is the quiet, confident knowing that what you have imagined is already yours in the unseen realm and will inevitably materialize in the physical world. This faith acts as a bridge between the invisible and the visible, drawing your desire into tangible form. When you persist in the vision, you align yourself with the frequency of your desired reality, making it impossible for it not to manifest. One of the greatest obstacles to persistence is doubt. Doubt arises when you allow your senses to dominate your perception of what is real. If you look to the external world for validation, you may find yourself questioning the feasibility of your vision. This is why persistence requires discipline. You must train your mind to focus on what you desire, rather than what you fear or lack. Each time doubt creeps in, reaffirm your vision and return to the feeling of your desire fulfilled. Persistence is about unwavering commitment to your dream. It is about holding on to the truth of what you want, no matter how long it takes or how improbable it seems. The universe responds to the energy of certainty. When you persist in your vision with faith and conviction, you send out a clear signal that cannot be ignored. Recognizing your inner millionaire is about understanding that wealth is not just a matter of external circumstances or financial numbers. It's a state of mind, a way of thinking, and a way of being. The true millionaire does not measure their wealth by the amount of money in their bank account, but by the abundance they feel within themselves. This inner wealth is the foundation from which all external wealth springs. Recognizing your inner millionaire means embracing your potential, your worth, and the unshakable belief that you are worthy of limitless abundance. The first step in recognizing your inner millionaire is to change your mindset. Too often, people limit themselves with beliefs rooted in scarcity. They believe wealth is hard to come by, or that it is only for the lucky few. These beliefs act as barriers that keep abundance at bay. But when you recognize that wealth is a reflection of your thoughts and feelings, you realize that the only true limitation lies within your own mind. You have the power to shift your perception of what is possible for you. The millionaire mindset is not focused on lack, struggle, or effort. It is grounded in the understanding that abundance is your natural state. You are deserving of wealth, and wealth is drawn to you as you align with the vibration of abundance. This does not mean you are entitled to instant riches, but rather that your thoughts, emotions, and actions must align with the belief that you are capable of attracting prosperity. Recognizing your inner millionaire is about understanding that you are an active participant in your financial destiny, not a passive observer. A key aspect of recognizing your inner millionaire is developing self-worth. The way you value yourself directly impacts the amount of abundance you allow into your life. If you do not believe you deserve wealth, you will unknowingly block it from flowing toward you. A person who recognizes their worth does not chase after wealth in desperation, but attracts it naturally by embodying the energy of abundance. They act from a place of confidence, knowing that they are worthy of everything they desire. One powerful way to recognize your inner millionaire is through visualization. By consistently picturing yourself as the person you want to become, you begin to reprogram your subconscious mind to accept this new identity. Imagine yourself living in the house of your dreams, driving the car you desire, and experiencing the lifestyle of abundance you long for. Feel the emotions of gratitude, joy, and excitement as if these things are already your reality. The more you visualize your wealthy self, the more your actions, decisions, and thoughts will align with the person you are becoming. Another essential element in recognizing your inner millionaire is gratitude. Millionaires, in both the literal and metaphorical sense, understand that wealth is not just about the destination, it is also about the journey. Gratitude amplifies abundance. By acknowledging and appreciating what you already have, you raise your vibration and open the door for more prosperity to enter your life. Whether it's appreciating the roof over your head, the food you eat, or the small successes you experience daily, gratitude strengthens your connection to the flow of abundance. Recognizing your inner millionaire also requires a shift in how you approach opportunities. Millionaires see opportunities where others see obstacles. They know that each challenge is an opportunity for growth, learning, and expansion. The mindset of abundance embraces risks and welcomes new experiences, because there is a deep understanding that the universe is always conspiring in their favor. When you adopt this mindset, you start to notice opportunities that were always there but previously went unnoticed. The more you recognize the opportunities around you, the more you invite wealth into your life. As you move forward, the recognition of your inner millionaire will also involve stepping into your power and taking inspired action. Wealth is not a passive state. It requires intention, focus, and effort. But this effort is not about struggling or working tirelessly. It's about taking inspired, aligned actions that feel joyful and right for you. When you recognize your inner millionaire, you stop chasing after success and start allowing it to flow toward you naturally. You begin to make decisions that reflect the wealth you are creating within, trusting that your intuition and inner wisdom will guide you to the right opportunities. The most important element in recognizing your inner millionaire is belief. It starts with believing in yourself, in your ability to create wealth, and in your worthiness to receive it. Belief is the fuel that drives your manifestations. Without belief, no amount of action or hard work will bring lasting results. But with belief, your thoughts become powerful and your actions become aligned with your deepest desires. Recognize that your inner millionaire is not defined by the money you have today. It is defined by the person you are becoming, the energy you are radiating, and the abundance you are attracting. Money is simply a reflection of the energy you embody. The more you recognize your inner wealth, the more it will manifest in all areas of your life. You have the power to create the life of your dreams. Recognize that wealth, success, and abundance are already within you, waiting to be realized. By shifting your mindset, embracing gratitude, trusting your intuition, and taking inspired action, you will find that the universe aligns to bring your desires to life. Recognize your inner millionaire, and you will begin to see the world through the eyes of abundance. Gratitude is the most powerful key to unlocking the abundance of life. It is not merely a polite acknowledgement of blessings, but a profound state of alignment with the source of all creation. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is lacking to what is present, from absence to abundance, and in doing so, it opens the floodgates to more of what you desire. When you dwell in the feeling of gratitude, you create a vibrational match to the very things you long to attract. To live in gratitude is to live in a state of constant receiving. Every breath, every moment, and every experience becomes a gift. When you recognize the abundance already present in your life, you activate a magnetic force that draws even more blessings toward you. The universe operates on a principle of reflection. It mirrors back to you the energy you emit. Gratitude, therefore, becomes a signal to the universe that you are ready to receive, that you acknowledge its infinite generosity, and that you trust in the flow of life. Many people make the mistake of waiting for their desires to manifest before they feel grateful. They tie their gratitude to external circumstances, thinking, "I'll be grateful when I get the job, the relationship, or the money." But this conditional gratitude keeps you in a state of waiting, reinforcing the idea that you do not yet have what you want. True gratitude, however, is proactive. It is the recognition of abundance before it materializes. When you express gratitude for something as though it is already yours, you collapse the distance between desire and manifestation. You summon it into your reality by aligning your energy with its presence. Gratitude is a state of allowing. It dissolves resistance and opens you to the flow of abundance. Often, people block their blessings with doubt, fear, or a fixation on how their desires will come to fruition. But gratitude bypasses these limitations. It shifts your focus from the mechanics of manifestation to the joy of receiving. When you are grateful, you trust the process. You no longer need to control every detail, because you know that the universe is working in your favor. Gratitude is the ultimate act of faith. It is not enough to simply say, "I'm grateful." The power of gratitude lies in feeling it deeply and genuinely. Words without emotion lack the vibrational energy needed to attract abundance. Take a moment to truly feel grateful for something in your life. It could be the warmth of the sun on your skin, the support of a loved one, or even the lessons learned through a challenging experience. Notice how this feeling expands your heart and lifts your spirit. That is the energy that draws miracles into your life. Gratitude also shifts your perspective. When you practice gratitude consistently, you begin to see the world differently. Challenges transform into opportunities, and obstacles become stepping stones. Instead of focusing on what you lack, you focus on what you have. And this shift in perspective creates a ripple effect. The more you focus on abundance, the more abundance you attract. Gratitude becomes a lens through which you view life, revealing blessings you might otherwise overlook. One of the most profound aspects of gratitude is its ability to neutralize negative emotions. It is impossible to feel deeply grateful and resentful, fearful, or anxious at the same time. Gratitude raises your vibrational frequency, lifting you out of low energy states and into a place of empowerment. When faced with difficulty, gratitude acts as an anchor, reminding you of the good that still exists in your life and helping you navigate challenges with grace and resilience. Gratitude also fosters a sense of interconnectedness. It reminds you that you are part of a greater whole, supported by forces seen and unseen. Every act of gratitude strengthens your connection to the divine source of all abundance. It is an acknowledgement that you are not alone, that life is always conspiring to bless you, and that you are a co-creator in this miraculous dance of existence. A powerful way to cultivate gratitude is through intentional practices. Begin and end your day by reflecting on what you are grateful for. Write these blessings down, no matter how small they may seem. As you do, notice how your energy shifts. Gratitude practice consistently becomes a habit, and over time, it transforms your life. The more you give thanks, the more reasons you find to be thankful. Gratitude is not just about receiving, it is also about giving. When you express gratitude, you naturally want to give back, whether through acts of kindness, words of appreciation, or simply sharing your joy with others. This giving creates a cycle of abundance that benefits not only you but everyone around you. The more you give, the more you receive, and the flow of blessings becomes endless. Gratitude is the key to unlocking the life you desire. It is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. By living in a state of gratitude, you align yourself with the infinite abundance of the universe. You become a magnet for blessings, a vessel for miracles, and a beacon of light in the world. Open your heart to gratitude and watch as the floodgates of abundance pour into your life. Everything you seek is already waiting for you. Gratitude is the key to receiving it. Wealth is not just an idea or a distant dream. It is a state of being that requires action. Thoughts and feelings lay the foundation for abundance, but action is the bridge that carries you from intention to manifestation. To step into wealth, you must align your actions with your vision and move forward with faith and determination. Action is the language through which you communicate your readiness to receive what you desire. It is a signal to the universe that you are committed to embodying the wealth you envision. The first step to stepping into wealth with action is clarity. You must be clear about what wealth means to you. For some, it may be financial freedom. For others, it might be a sense of security, opportunities for travel, or the ability to give generously. Whatever wealth represents to you, it must be defined with precision. Without a clear vision, your actions will lack direction, and the energy you invest will dissipate. Clarity allows you to take purposeful steps, ensuring that every effort aligns with your ultimate goal. Once your vision is clear, the next step is to cultivate the mindset of a wealthy person. Wealthy individuals do not wait for external circumstances to change before they act. Instead, they embody the confidence, decisiveness, and resourcefulness that align with their desired reality. When you act as though you are already wealthy, you shift your energy from lack to abundance. This doesn't mean reckless spending or living beyond your means. It means adopting habits and attitudes that reflect your belief in your own prosperity. Taking action requires courage. The path to wealth often involves stepping out of your comfort zone, facing uncertainty, and taking risks. These challenges are not meant to deter you but to refine you. Each step you take, no matter how small, builds momentum. Even if the path is unclear, The act of moving forward opens doors that would have remained invisible if you had stayed still. Remember, action is not about knowing every step in advance, it's about trusting that the next step will reveal itself as you move forward. One of the most important aspects of stepping into wealth with action is consistency. Small, consistent efforts compound over time to create extraordinary results. Wealth is not built overnight, nor is it the result of one grand gesture. It is the outcome of daily actions, decisions, and habits that align with your vision. Whether it's learning a new skill, saving a portion of your income, or networking with others who inspire you, these small steps accumulate and pave the way for abundance. Action also requires intention. It is not enough to be busy, your efforts must be purposeful. Every action you take should reflect your belief in your ability to create wealth. Whether it's choosing to invest in your personal growth, starting a business, or managing your finances with discipline, your actions should align with your ultimate goal. Intention transforms ordinary tasks into powerful steps toward abundance. It ensures that your energy is focused and that your efforts are meaningful. Another key to stepping into wealth with action is resilience. The journey to abundance is rarely linear. There will be setbacks, challenges, and moments of doubt. These experiences are not signs of failure but opportunities for growth. Wealthy individuals understand that persistence is essential. They do not give up when faced with obstacles. Instead, they learn from them and adapt. Each challenge you overcome strengthens your resolve and brings you closer to your goals. Stepping into wealth also involves collaboration. No one achieves great success in isolation. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, challenge you, and support your vision. Seek mentors who have walked the path you aspire to follow. Build relationships with individuals who share your values and ambitions. Collaboration amplifies your efforts and opens doors to opportunities you may not have discovered on your own. Gratitude plays a vital role in taking action toward wealth. When you are grateful for what you have, you attract more to be grateful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present, creating a sense of abundance that fuels your actions. As you move forward, take time to appreciate each step of the journey. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and trust that every effort brings you closer to your vision. Stepping into wealth with action requires faith. Faith is the belief in what you cannot yet see, the conviction that your efforts will bear fruit, even if the results are not immediately visible. Faith allows you to act with confidence, knowing that the universe responds to your energy and intention. When you act with faith, you align with the flow of abundance, and the universe meets you halfway. Wealth is not something you chase, it is something you step into. By aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions, you create a harmonious flow that attracts abundance into your life. Each action you take, no matter how small, is a step toward embodying the wealth you desire. Move forward with clarity, intention, and faith, and watch as your actions transform your vision into reality. The journey to wealth begins with a single step. Take it boldly, and the path will unfold before you. There is a timeless truth that governs the workings of life, and love what is meant for you cannot be missed. The moment you plant the seed of desire within your mind, it begins to take root. But the key to its fulfillment is not in the frantic chase, but in the quiet assurance that it is already yours. You must understand, dear one, that the world you see is merely a reflection of your inner state. If you believe that love is something to pursue, to chase, to grasp with desperation, you will find yourself running endlessly. But if you rest in the truth that love is a natural expression of who you are, then love will find its way to you without effort. Stillness is the most profound power you possess. In a world constantly moving, where people rush to fulfill their desires and chase fleeting goals, it is the one who can sit in quiet assurance who commands life's unfolding. Stillness is not idleness, it is the calm, deliberate awareness that the fulfillment of your desires is already within you. It is the recognition that nothing outside of you has the power to grant you what you seek. You connect to the infinite power of creation. When you are still, you quiet the noise of doubt, fear, and desperation. You silence the voice that says you must act, fight, or struggle to receive. Instead, you tune into a deeper truth. Everything you desire already exists within the invisible realm, and it is your inner state that draws it forth into the visible. The moment you still your mind, you step into harmony with the forces that shape your world. People often believe that action is the key to getting what they want. They run, chase, and exhaust themselves trying to manipulate circumstances. But their frantic efforts only create resistance because they operate from a state of lack. They believe they must do in order to have. This is the great illusion. True power does not come from doing, it comes from being. And to be requires stillness. Stillness is not passive. It is the active choice to align with the state of fulfillment, to rest in the feeling of having already received. When you sit quietly and imagine your desire as a present reality, you are performing the most potent act of creation. You are planting the seed of your desire in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. From there it grows, nourished by your faith and conviction, until it inevitably manifests in your experience. When you are still, you do not chase. You do not plead or force. You simply allow. You trust that the universe knows the perfect way to bring your desire to you, in the perfect time. Your task is not to figure out the how or the when. Your task is to stay anchored in the knowing that it is done. This knowing is the essence of stillness. It is the quiet confidence that life is working in your favor, even when you cannot yet see the results. Stillness also allows you to hear the whispers of intuition. When your mind is cluttered with worry or overrun with endless plans, you miss the subtle guidance that comes from within. But when you are still, you open the channel to receive inspiration. The ideas, insights, and opportunities begin to flow to you effortlessly. You no longer have to struggle to make things happen, because you are aligned with the natural flow of creation. The power of stillness lies in its ability to shift your state of being. When you are still, you move from a state of lack to a state of abundance. You stop focusing on what is missing and start embodying the feeling of fulfillment. And it is this feeling, not your actions, that shapes your reality. The world reflects your inner state like a mirror. If you are restless, anxious, or doubtful, your world will reflect that. But if you are still, calm, and assured, your world will mirror that peace and bring forth your desires with ease. Stillness is an act of surrender, but not in the sense of giving up. It is the surrender of resistance. It is letting go of the need to control and trusting that life's wisdom is greater than your own. When you surrender, you step out of the way and allow the forces of the universe to work on your behalf. You stop interfering with their flow and start cooperating with it. In stillness, you discover that the real journey is not about changing the external world, but about transforming within. It is about becoming the person who naturally attracts what they desire. When you are still, you allow yourself to feel as though your desire is already fulfilled. This feeling is the bridge that connects the invisible with the visible, the unmanifested with the manifested. Stillness is a practice. It requires patience and faith. There will be moments when the urge to act impulsively or to doubt creeps in. But in those moments, return to stillness. Remind yourself that there is nothing to fear, nothing to force. All you need is already yours. Sit with that truth. Breathe it in. Let it settle into every corner of your being. The greatest movements of life arise from stillness. The seed does not strain to grow, it simply rests in the soil, trusting the process of life. The same is true for you. Rest in the soil of your own inner knowing. Trust that everything is unfolding perfectly. Be still and know that you are already complete. In this stillness, you unlock the limitless power within you, and the world bends to reflect your state of grace. Imagination is the invisible hand that shapes the reality you experience. Every structure, every invention, every moment of beauty or triumph began first as an image in someone's mind. Before it was seen in the physical world, it was felt, envisioned, and brought to life in the realm of imagination. This is the secret to creation. The world you live in is merely a reflection of the thoughts and images you hold within. When you grasp the power of imagination, you realize that nothing is truly beyond your reach. Your imagination is the workshop of creation. It is here that you build the blueprint for the life you desire. Yet many people misuse this power. Instead of imagining possibilities, they dwell on fears, failures, or limitations. They replay the worst-case scenarios in their minds and wonder why their lives mirror these fears. They do not realize that their imagination, whether consciously directed or not, is constantly creating their reality. To harness the power of imagination, you must understand that it works in alignment with your feelings and beliefs. It is not enough to simply think about what you want, you must feel it as though it is already real. When you imagine yourself living the life you desire, fully immersed in the experience, your subconscious mind begins to accept this as your truth. The subconscious does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. It takes your inner vision as fact and works tirelessly to bring it to fruition. Think of your imagination as the canvas upon which you paint the masterpiece of your life. Every detail matters. If you want abundance, imagine yourself surrounded by prosperity. Feel the joy and relief of having more than enough. See the details clearly. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Let those feelings saturate your being. This act of creative imagining is not a mere exercise, it is the foundation upon which your future is built. The key is to imagine from the end. Do not imagine yourself desiring or striving for your goal, as that only reinforces the state of lack. Instead, place yourself in the scene where your desire is already fulfilled. If it is love you seek, imagine yourself in a loving relationship. Feel the warmth, the companionship, the laughter. Make it real in your mind. By doing so, you are telling the universe, "This is who I am." And the universe responds by aligning your reality with your new identity. This power, however, requires discipline. It is not enough to imagine once or twice and then revert to old patterns of doubt and worry. You must persist in your vision, even when there is no immediate evidence that your desire is on its way. Faith is the bridge that connects your imagination to reality. When you persistently hold an image in your mind, with faith that it will come to pass, you set into motion forces that are beyond your conscious understanding. Your imagination is also the key to overcoming obstacles. When faced with challenges, do not dwell on the problem. Instead, use your imagination to see the solution. Envision yourself already victorious, already thriving. This mental shift not only changes your perspective, but also opens the door for solutions to reveal themselves. Your imagination is not bound by the limitations of logic or circumstances. It sees beyond what is and focuses on what can be. The beauty of imagination is that it allows you to become the architect of your own destiny. You are not a victim of circumstances or a puppet of fate. You have the power to create, to shape, to design the life you want. But this power requires you to take responsibility for your thoughts. You must choose your inner images with care, knowing that they will shape the world around you. Imagine boldly, without fear or doubt. Do not limit yourself by what seems possible or practical. Remember, the purpose of imagination is to transcend the limitations of the present moment and reach into the infinite realm of possibility. Trust in this process. What you vividly imagine with feeling and faith must come to pass. This is not a matter of chance, but of law. In the quiet moments of your day, close your eyes and enter the world of imagination. Build there the life you wish to live. Make it as real and vivid as you can. Then carry the feeling of that imagined reality into your waking moments. Let it guide your actions, your decisions, and your interactions. Over time, you will see that your outer world begins to shift, aligning itself with the vision you have held within. Letting go does not mean giving up on your desires. It means surrendering the need to control how and when they manifest. It means moving from a state of lack to a state of faith. This faith is not blind optimism, but a deep knowing that life is working in your favor, even if you cannot yet see the results. When you let go, you shift your focus from external striving to internal alignment. This shift is where true power lies. The act of letting go requires patience and trust, both of which can feel challenging in a world that glorifies hustle and instant gratification. But remember, the greatest transformations often occur in stillness. When you stop chasing and start trusting, you open yourself to possibilities that you might have overlooked in your frantic pursuit. You begin to notice the subtle signs, the intuitive nudges, and the opportunities that were always there but hidden from your view. Another key to releasing the need to chase is cultivating a sense of worthiness. Often the impulse to chase stems from a subconscious belief that you are not enough as you are, that you must earn or prove your worth to receive what you want. But the truth is, you are already deserving. Your worth is inherent and unchanging. When you embrace this truth, you no longer feel the need to grasp or cling. Instead, you attract effortlessly because you radiate confidence and self-assurance. Releasing the need to chase is an act of self-love. It is a declaration that you trust yourself and the unfolding of your journey. It is choosing peace over desperation, alignment over effort, and faith over fear. When you embody this state, you become magnetic. You draw to you the people, circumstances, and opportunities that resonate with your energy. You no longer have to chase, because everything you desire flows naturally into your life. The paradox of letting go is that it often accelerates the manifestation of your desires. When you stop chasing, you stop creating resistance. You step into the flow of life, where things happen with ease and grace. This doesn't mean you sit idle, it means you take inspired action from a place of alignment and trust, rather than from a place of fear and lack. As you release the need to chase, you will find a sense of freedom. No longer bound by the pressure to pursue, you can focus on becoming the best version of yourself. You can nurture your dreams, follow your passions, and enjoy the present moment, knowing that everything you desire is already on its way. Trust in this process. Let go of the chase and watch as life begins to unfold in ways that are far greater than you could have imagined. The state of being is the foundation of everything you experience in life. It is the silent force shaping your reality, often without your conscious awareness. While action has its place in the physical world, it is secondary to the state from which you act. The most transformative and fulfilling outcomes arise not from frantic activity, but from a state of being that is aligned with your desires. To truly create the life you want, you must focus on your state of being first, allowing your actions to flow naturally and effortlessly from that inner alignment. The world often glorifies action. It rewards busyness, hustle, and relentless effort. Society teaches that if you want something, you must chase it, fight for it, and never stop until you achieve it. But what if this constant striving is not the way to true fulfillment? What if the most effective path begins not with doing but with being? Your state of being, the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs you carry within determines the quality of your actions and the results they produce. Action that arises from a state of doubt, fear, or lack will always fall short, no matter how much effort you put in. When you prioritize your state of being, you are aligning yourself with the outcomes you desire. Think of it as tuning a radio. You cannot hear your favorite station unless you first adjust the dial to the correct frequency. In the same way, you cannot attract what you truly want unless you align your state of being with the frequency of those desires. This alignment happens through feelings, thoughts, and beliefs that resonate with the life you wish to create. When you embody the state of someone who already has what they want, your actions become natural expressions of that state. Consider this: a person who feels abundant will naturally take actions that reflect abundance. They will make decisions confidently, share generously, and embrace opportunities with ease. On the other hand, a person who feels scarcity, even if they work tirelessly, will approach life with hesitation, fear, and a tendency to hold back. Their state of being undermines their actions. The difference is not in the effort, but in the energy behind the effort. This is why focusing on your state of being is so essential. It ensures that every action you take is infused with the power to manifest your desired outcome. The key to cultivating the right state of being is self-awareness. Take time to observe your inner world. What are you feeling? What thoughts dominate your mind? Are they aligned with what you want to create, or are they rooted in fear and doubt? Awareness is the first step toward transformation. Once you recognize the state you are in, you can consciously choose a new one. This is not about forcing yourself to feel something you don't truly believe, but about gently shifting your focus toward the emotions and thoughts that support your desired reality. Visualization and imagination are powerful tools for aligning your state of being. When you vividly imagine yourself living the life you desire, your mind begins to accept it as your reality. Close your eyes and see yourself as the person you want to be. Feel the emotions of already having what you seek. Let that feeling saturate your being. This practice is not about escaping the present, but about creating a new inner reality that will inevitably manifest outwardly. When your state of being changes, your actions and experiences follow suit. Trust plays a significant role in shifting from action-driven to being-centered living. Trust that the universe, or the higher power you believe in, is working in harmony with your intentions. Trust that you don't need to control every detail or force outcomes. This trust allows you to relax into your state of being, knowing that it is enough to set the wheels of creation in motion. When you act from a place of trust, your actions are inspired and effortless, rather than forced and exhausting. It is important to remember that action is not the enemy. It is a necessary part of life, but it must be the servant of your state of being, not the master. Action taken from alignment is powerful and effective. It feels natural, as if you are being carried by a current rather than swimming against it. You may still work hard, but the work will feel joyful and purposeful, because it is in harmony with your inner state. The key is not to abandon action, but to ensure it flows from a place of clarity and alignment. This principle applies to every area of life. In relationships, for example, trying to win someone's affection through relentless effort rarely works. True connection arises from a state of being that radiates love, confidence, and authenticity. In career and business, success comes not from working yourself to exhaustion, but from embodying the qualities of someone who is already successful: vision, confidence, and a sense of purpose. When you focus on your state of being, you reclaim your power. You realize that you are not at the mercy of external circumstances. Instead, you are the creator of your reality. Everything begins within, and when you align your inner world with your desires, the outer world responds in kind. This is not magic, it is a fundamental truth of existence. By prioritizing your state of being over action, you unlock a life of greater ease, joy, and fulfillment. You become a living example of the profound truth that who you are is far more important than what you do. Letting go of resistance is one of the most liberating choices you can make. Resistance is the invisible wall that blocks your flow, the inner tension that keeps you disconnected from the peace, joy, and abundance that are naturally yours. It shows up in subtle ways: doubts, fears, frustrations, or the need to control every outcome. Yet the very act of resisting what is creates a cycle of struggle, leaving you trapped in patterns that prevent you from moving forward. To let go of resistance is to release the weight that holds you down and to step into a life of freedom and ease. Resistance often stems from the mind's attachment to how things should be. We create rigid expectations about how events should unfold, how others should behave, or how quickly we should achieve our goals. When reality does not conform to these expectations, resistance arises. It manifests as frustration, impatience, or even despair. The more tightly we cling to these expectations, the more we suffer. This suffering is not caused by the situation itself, but by our refusal to accept it as it is. The goal of resistance begins with awareness. You must first notice when and where resistance is present in your life. It could be in the form of a lingering resentment, an unresolved fear, or a constant feeling of pushing against something. Pay attention to your emotions and your body. Resistance often reveals itself as tension, a tightness in your chest, a knot in your stomach, or a racing mind. These signals are your invitation to pause, reflect, and let go. To let go does not mean to give up or resign yourself to an undesirable fate. It means to release the inner struggle against what is. It means to accept the present moment fully, not because you necessarily like it, but because resisting it will not change it. Acceptance is not passive. It is a powerful act of surrender that aligns you with the flow of life. When you accept what is, you create space for transformation. You move from a place of resistance to one of possibility. The key to releasing resistance lies in shifting your focus. Instead of obsessing over what is wrong, turn your attention to what feels good, what inspires you, or what you can appreciate right now. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to resistance. It redirects your energy from lack to abundance, from frustration to contentment. By focusing on what you are grateful for, you soften the grip of resistance and open yourself to the natural flow of life. Letting go of resistance also requires trust. Trust that life is unfolding exactly as it should, even if it does not match your expectations. Trust that every challenge carries within it the seed of growth, and that every delay serves a purpose. When you trust the process, you no longer feel the need to force outcomes or control every detail. Instead, you can relax into the rhythm of life, knowing that you are always being guided toward your highest good. One of the most effective ways to release resistance is through mindfulness. Mindfulness brings you into the present moment, where resistance cannot exist. Resistance thrives in the stories your mind creates about the past or future regrets, about what has been or worries about what might come. In the present moment, there is only what is, and in that space you can find peace. Practice mindfulness by observing your thoughts without judgment, focusing on your breath, or simply being fully present with whatever you are doing. Another practice that helps in letting go of resistance is self-compassion. Often resistance is directed inward. We resist our own imperfections, mistakes, or feelings of vulnerability. This inner resistance creates a cycle of shame and self-criticism that keeps us stuck. By practicing self-compassion, you can break this cycle. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer to a dear friend. Acknowledge your struggles without judgment, and remind yourself that it is okay to be human. Letting go of resistance does not mean you stop pursuing your goals or dreams. It means you stop fighting against the current and start flowing with it. When you let go of resistance, your actions become inspired rather than forced. You are no longer driven by fear or frustration, but by a sense of joy and alignment. This shift in energy makes all the difference. What once felt like an uphill battle now feels effortless. Opportunities arise, solutions present themselves, and progress happens naturally. Resistance often disguises itself as control. We believe that if we can just manage every detail, we can make things go our way. But control is an illusion. The more we try to control, the more resistance we create. True power comes from surrender, not control. Surrender does not mean giving up, it means letting go of the need to force outcomes and trusting that life will unfold in the best possible way. Paradoxically, it is in surrender that you find your greatest strength. When you let go of resistance, you open yourself to the flow of life. You align with the natural rhythm of the universe, where everything happens in its perfect time and order. You become a co-creator with life, rather than its adversary. The energy you once spent on struggle and frustration is now available for creativity, joy, and growth. Letting go of resistance is not a one-time event, it is a daily practice, a continual choice to release and trust. Life becomes infinitely more beautiful when you let go of resistance. You no longer carry the heavy burden of trying to control the uncontrollable. You free yourself to experience the present moment fully, and to embrace the endless possibilities that arise when you are in flow. Let go of resistance, and you will discover a deeper peace, a greater ease, and a life that feels as if it is unfolding perfectly, just as it is meant to be.